Jesus and his stuff got started, as far as I can tell. People just made it up, wrote it down. It didn't happen. It's not real. It did not occur. It's fully whole cloth, made up, fairy tale, fiction,
all right, well, let me
not
okay,
real.
Let me all right, well, let me
what
ask
else you got?
Quick.
Because that's circular reasoning. We're going to apply the Bible to prove the Bible.
All right, now let's. Okay, well, we're going to go.
That one down. That one doesn't work either. What else?
All right. Well, we'll go a little deep on this one. So you're familiar with the stories in the Old Testament, right? You would say those are all fabrications, correct? You'll see what I'm saying.
They're, as far as let's see if there's any that I can think of that would be actually true or even plausible. I don't know that they're all fabrications, but a large number are.
Okay. What's your stance about how over on Mount Ararat in Turkey they found a massive ancient structure? Let me finish real quick. Let me finish, please. They found a massive, almost 500-foot long ancient boat there on Mount Ararat.
That never happened.
Turkey, where the Bible says
they didn't find it. No one ever found it.
Can I please finish though, so the audience knows what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Is it?
But not everybody. But not everybody listening.
Is it Ron Highwit?
Him, but there's like 1,000 other people that also went there.
No one else.
Yeah, this guy's kind of, notice he won't allow me to properly form a sentence because he doesn't want the audience to hear what I'm saying because he's getting daggered. Now, he asked me for further proof because he didn't accept the other instances I gave. So I brought up an example about Noah's Ark, right? The story from Genesis, right, when Noah built the ark to escape the flood. The thing is, they found a massive ancient wooden boat on the mountains of Ararat where the Bible literally says Noah's Ark came to a rest on. In fact, I'll give you the example. So again, what are the odds that they found a massive few 100-foot long wooden boat that lines up with the depiction of the ark in the Bible, and it's in the exact location where the Bible says the boat came to rest on? And it's like, you mean to tell me that's not worth a conversation about? That you as an atheist don't think that's a little weird how the Bible could get that right? And then here we are thousands of years later, and we literally found a boat where the Bible said it was. Look here, Genesis chapter 8 and verse 4. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. So again, the ark in Turkey that me and him are talking about, it's on the exact mountain range that the Bible said here that Noah's Ark came to rest on. So again, I gotta ask, it's like, how can you claim that it's an unreasonable example I'm giving you here? I'm showing you archaeological finding of a massive ancient boat that's in the exact location where the Bible says Noah's Ark came to rest on. And you're going to claim that that's not reasonable evidence that supports the biblical story in any way, shape, or form? I mean, that's ridiculous. And then the dude says, well, you're only talking about Ron Wyatt. And then I said, well, yeah, Ron Wyatt has done a lot of research on it, sure, and I've seen his research, but there's literally like a few thousand other people that ventured out to the site and did their own test and, exploring of the remains that are found there. It's not just this one individual. And again, Ron Wyatt, a lot of his stuff actually is has some evidence behind it, but then he also goes off on some things too. Right, there's some findings he says he found that I don't necessarily believe, but then other things he claims are actually reasonable. And once again, I'm not just saying that this guy found it and nobody else. There's literally thousands of other people that go out to these sites and do the research on these things and explore these things other than this individual. Like literally, you can go on YouTube and look up, say for instance, Noah's Ark found on Mount Ararat in Turkey. You'll literally get like 10,000 videos from thousands of individuals who either went there or done their own research on the story and will give you, their findings and their research on the topic. So literally, you can't just sit there and say that this is being based on one individual. As a matter of fact, his story is not even correct. this guy, a deconverted man. But what's this guy deconverted from? I mean, shit, this dude's deconverted from being a straight man. I mean, damn. You know, but if you do research on it, I actually recently, just to make sure I was in the right with what I'm saying, I went back and watched a 10-minute documentary from the History Channel. And even they said that the first time that this structure was sighted was in like the late 1950s, early 1960s. There was like military pilots that were surveying the land from above, and they happened to notice this formation on the mountain. So again, this dude doesn't even know what he's talking about, because Ron Wyatt wasn't even the first individual that stumbled across this. Now, sure, he could have been one of the first people to go and explore the object on the ground, sure, but there were people who noticed it from the air when they flew over it before him. So this guy didn't even know that. This guy didn't even know that. And if I'm not mistaken, which again, I could be wrong on this, but I believe Ron Wyatt's research on it started in the 80s, but it was discovered in the 60s. It was discovered in the late 50s, early 60s, according to the History Channel. Right? So again, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. It's just astonishing. We'll get back to the conversation.
So you mean to tell me that if I go on the internet and
you'll find stuff. I'm sure you'll find stuff that pretends to say that happened, but we have absolutely no photos, no videos, no empirical evidence, no actual archaeologists.
You heard that dude's like, we have no video, we have no photographs. It's like, dude, you're going to hear him later. He says that he's done research on it, right? Dude, you literally mean to tell me there's no video and no photographs? Literally, dude, you can go on Google or on YouTube and you can find thousands of videos and thousands of photos that are taken from both the outside of this object and from the inside of the object. So for you to just sit there and say, well, there's no videos or photos that exist, I mean, you are literally lying. You are literally lying. And then later I call him out. It's like, why do you trust known liars? Then he's like, I don't trust known liars. Right? But then the dude literally, you'll see it later on, the dude literally, as his evidence for what he believes, he literally just typed a Google search and said, oh, well, look, here it says you can't see the curvature of the earth from, you can only see it from 14,000 feet. Well, see, that's the answer. It's like, wait, so your whole evidence for your belief is a Google search. So you can literally look up, what could we say? You can literally look up anything. Like, shit, you could look up a picture of Bigfoot, right? And you'll get all of those fake images on there. But you would believe that's real because, well, look, there it is. There's the picture. There's the picture. I mean, that's like the same line of stupidity this guy's using here. It's astonishing, But again, one of my slogans I use is gullible people believe stupid things, right? This guy is a gullible person, right? Very gullible and very ignorant about the topics that he speaks about.
Wait,
we have zero to support it. It didn't happen. It's not real.
What do you want? Can I please speak to that? I mean, I think that's fair.
No, but I want actual empirical evidence, not things cited by charlatans like Ron Howard.
Once again, I can give you that, but you're not allowing me a chance to speak. You just
the cat can't even say the dude's name right. The guy's name is Ron Wyatt. The guy said something like Ron Ryland or something like that. You heard that? Dude thinks that he knows what he's talking about, doesn't even know the name of the individual in question. I mean, this is just amazing. This is amazing.
Well,
I mean, here's this thing that's not been discovered. That's not empirical evidence. So of course,
just so I know, what do you want me to? What do you want me to refer to you as?
You can call me whatever you want. You can call me Deconverted Man, DM, Dan, whatever you want.
Can I call you Deconverted?
You can, yeah, sure, whatever.
Okay, cool. So let's deal with this, right? So Deconverted, you mean to tell me that if I go on YouTube and look up, say for instance, I look up Noah's Ark, Mount Ararat, Turkey, and I click the search, there's literally 10,000 results that pop up. You would tell me that all of those are fake?
Yes.
How do you know all those are fake?
I don't even think he clarifies this. Like, when he says they're all fake, like what do you mean by that? Do you mean like the actual photographs and video of this object are all CGI and not real, or do you mean that the people are just like making up that this is something that it's not? It's like, what do you mean when you say it's all fake? Like, again, if you ask me the question, like if I tell you that NASA's image of the Earth are fake, you ask me to elaborate on that, I could say, yeah, I can go into all this detail. Even this dude, what's this guy, Robert Simmons, that created the blue marble in 2002. Even he admitted, yeah, it's photoshopped. You can literally see the clouds duplicated onto multiple images. You can see the continents are different shades and different sizes on each of them. Again, I can go into detail on what I'm saying when you question me on it, but if I question you, all you can say is, who knows? Who knows? I'm a very smart person, but who knows? I believe what I'm told, right? I believe whatever Google says. I mean, this is astonishing. It's like, have you ever seen somebody so delusional? This guy is the embarrassment for the atheist community. I mean, damn. This is an embarrassment.
First and foremost, because every single claim is not verified. All those claims, if you actually look into who's making the claim, a lot of it traces back to Ron, who's a known con artist. So there's nothing there to examine. And there's zero peer-reviewed published papers in archaeology that suggest a ark. Also, we know that the world cannot fully flood. And we know that through a wide variety of means that Aron-Ra has covered way better than I ever could.
Well, once again, regardless of the actual water from the flood itself, I'm talking about this boat. You're saying that...
It's not there. There's not even a boat there. Not even a boat there.
Once again, let me pause there. Because this guy claims that he's done the research on this topic, right? So, if you look at all the evidence, the video footage, and the photographs, even from the air, you can see it in its entirety, right? It's a few hundred feet long from, top to bottom, right? Everybody that's went down there to, view this thing, by vast majority, say for instance, like 90% of people out of 100, agree that this is a man-made structure of, excuse background noise. This is a man-made structure of some sort. Many say it's a boat, some say it's, some type of, building structure or whatever. But one thing for sure, they've done the research, and they've even went out there with certain equipment that they can measure, underground, that they can visualize if there's like any type of, wooden structure set up. Like, they went inside of the boat shape, and they literally found where there's like layers. There's layers inside of this thing. So it really is a boat or some type of structure that's man-made. This is not natural. So again, for you to sit there and say, well, nothing's there, nothing's weird about it, I mean, you're literally contradicting all the thousands of people that have a background in science who went down there and actually looked at this thing. And again, I can admit not all of them say that it's a boat, sure, but a lot of them do agree that this is a boat structure. But one thing vast majority of them can agree on, and this is not a natural occurrence. This was man-made. So for you to just sit there and say, oh, it's not, it's like, well, what the hell do you know? It's like you sitting there in your trailer park living on disability checks, watching Netflix all day. It's like, what the hell do you know? It's not like you actually went to these sites and actually conducted any research. All you're doing is sitting on your behind, using your computer and looking up things on the internet all day, as if that's like compelling evidence for your arguments. But yet, if I do it, it's somehow not evidence. Like later he's going to say something along the lines of, well, you don't do research into what you're saying, but I do research. And then they ask him, okay, well, if me looking up things and reading into it, if that's not considered to be research, what do you do, Deconverted Man, what do you do that's considered research that's not exactly what I'm doing, looking things up and reading into it or watching a video about it? Like, exactly, what is it that you're doing that's considered research that I'm not doing that considers what I'm doing not to be research? It's like, you get what I'm saying? It's just, you'll hear him say it later. This guy is just amazing. It's astonishing.
But converted, you got to be fair and let me speak. You're not even letting me finish what I'm saying. To how people are able to understand what we're talking about. What I'm saying is, you mean to tell me that all the people that actually went out to this site, they took video and pictures of it. Some people even tried to go down into it. So you mean to tell me all those pictures are not real? That's what you mean?
What pictures?
I mean, literally, you could go on the internet and find hundreds of video and picture of this supposed Noah's Ark.
Not a single professional, right?
Well, I would say there are professionals that went down to see it. You would just say they're not.
Well, not a single peer-reviewed paper has been produced by any archaeology person.
Once again, this guy clearly is delusional and doesn't know what he's talking about. Literally, the Science Channel went down there, the History Channel, the Discovery Channel, everything you can think of. All these channels have to do with science and history. That at some point in their television channels they run, they've went down there, all of those channels, and conducted some type of documentary on this structure. So they've taken people down there that know what they're talking about to actually look at this thing. So for you to say that not any scientist or people with any type of knowledge, in that type of field, went down to look at this, I mean, again, you're just being willfully ignorant and unknowledgeable about what you're talking about. Again, I mean, it's like, if we were to compare, if we had a scale, right, and we put on one side of the scale his arguments for why the structure on Mount Ararat is not Noah's Ark, we put that on one side, then we put my arguments for why it is on the other side. I mean, mine would be down through the floor compared to this guy, right? His would be like damn, featherweight compared to my brick-sized, weight that I can produce to support that structure really is the boat that the Bible speaks of. Again, this is the embarrassment for him right here.
I mean, I'm sure it has, but
no, it hasn't. I've looked at it. There's nothing there. It's a big giant nothing burger.
Okay, but
really, you looked at. He said it's a big giant nothing burger, is what he said. Oh, really? You looked at it and it turns out to be nothing? It's like, so why the hell is it that 90% of professionals and people that go down there to look at this thing all agree that it's a man-made structure of some type from the past? Only very few people say that it's natural. Vast majority of people that go down to look at this thing agree that this is man-made. So for you to say that there's nothing there, like again, even if it wasn't Noah's Ark, right? Even if it was like a building or something, still there would be something of historical importance there, right? Even if it wasn't connected to the Bible and it was from like a different civilization from the past, that would still have some type of significance for history, right? So for you to say that it's nothing at all, I mean, that's just delusional. I mean, that's just retarded to say something like that. It's amazing, but this shows you that a lot of people out here that claim to be smart don't really know what they're talking about.
Well, here's the dilemma, though, is I've done plenty of research into it as well, and I will conclude, well, yeah, there certainly is something there. So how do we know?
Well, you haven't actually done research. You've looked at things that confirm your belief.
Okay, so what research have you done? Like, for instance, if me looking into it isn't considered research, what did you do that is considered research?
Well, I looked into who made the claim, which was a known fraud, and then I said, well, his claims are off.
And once again, it shows that you don't know what you're talking about, because again, I brought up the fact that Ron Wyatt was not the first person that spotted this. There was Army pilots that flew over back in the 60s who reported, and they actually took photographs of this from the air, right, of this structure they found that didn't line up with the rest of the surrounding rock formations on this mountain, right? So they took these images back in the 60s, according to History Channel. Okay, so Ron Wyatt, again, according to my research, he didn't start to look into it at the site until the 80s, right? So that's like, what, 20 some years? Give or take a few, that this was discovered in the air before these guys went down on the ground to look at it. So again, he wasn't the first person to discover this. You're clearly mistaken with what you're talking about.
Well, what else we got? And every other person that made a claim about it, guess what? Also fraudsters, hucksters, con artists, not a single actual archaeologist. And as far as the videos and photos, none of them show anything that are remarkable or have been confirmed by anybody else to be anything even remotely boat-like, but a lot of people want it to be that, so they say it is that,
well,
and in every single case, it has been zero void. It's a
all right, well, let me bring this up. You know the technology they have where they're able to put I forget the name of it, but they're able to scan the ground underneath it. You know what I'm talking about? They're able to scan the ground.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
please finish.
Yeah, Ron Wyatt and friends supposedly did this, but they didn't
let me just finish real quick. So I'm saying again, multiple people have done this as well. It's not just this one guy, Ron Wyatt. I'm not basing what I'm saying just off of this guy's claims. There's literally hundreds of other people that have nothing to do with this guy who went down there to do their own research.
And not a single one is an actual academic archaeologist. Not a single one of them. No peer-reviewed paper.
Sure.
Not a single peer-reviewed paper. You're sure? Cite me a peer-reviewed paper on this thing. One.
If you send me your email, I can send you one. I'll look and I'll send you one. Is that fine?
A peer-reviewed paper. Okay.
Yes, I'll send you one.
It's deconvertedman1@gmail.com.
Okay, very good. So what I wanted to bring this up for, right? They've done the survey of the ground underneath where this object is, and they found evidence that there are layers to this thing, like wooden layers under the ground where this thing is. So a lot of people that check this thing out, of course some say it's natural, but a lot of people that view this thing and are doing the research on this, they say, well, yes, this is some type of man-made structure. So now let me ask you this. Let's just say, let's put Noah's Ark to the side for a second. So you mean to tell me it's this structure they found on Mount Ararat, it's not a man-made structure of any sort? That's what you mean to tell me?
I don't know what it is or what they found or if they found anything at all. What I do know is that when I investigated this, it was a giant nothing burger. They might have found something else that is some sort of structure, and it might, maybe they found a boat. I doubt it. But even if they did...
Well, so again, you heard it from him. He's unsure. But then he says even if they did find a building or a boat or some type of structure, it's a big nothing burger, meaning it's of none importance. I think every historian would disagree with you on that. Again, even if it's not Noah's Ark, right? Even if it's just an ancient structure from a civilization, every historian would say, well, yeah, that's a big deal right there. We got to do more research into that. This guy's nothing important. I mean, come on, this is amazing.
Find a boat, it'd have to be dated to a time period near the time. And,
well, they've taken the wood that they found there and they date it to be 4,800 years old is what they date the wood to be.
Who did?
From the site. Who did? Well, the scientists that took the wood sample.
What scientists?
And I misspoke here. I believe it was Ron Wyatt. They have it on display at the museum. They took a piece of the wood they found from the anomaly, and they took it back, dated it about 4,800 years old, and they put it on display at their museum where they have, other Bible artifacts on display. So I misspoke here. You'll hear it.
What are their names?
I believe Kent Hovind.
Not a scientist. Kent Hovind's not a scientist. No, he's not a scientist. He's a fraud.
I mean, again, even if you don't like Kent Hovind, Which, hell, I can agree that he goes off on certain things that he says, sure. But I've watched plenty of his debates. Matter of fact, he goes on this channel I watch called Standing for Truth, right? They have like Christian versus atheist, evolution versus creation debates. And one of the people they constantly bring on to have discussions with is this guy Kent Hovind, right? Because YouTube deleted his main channel, right? So he still goes around and has open mic debates with people that believe in evolution. And hey, look, I got to give the man credit, right? Even though he goes off on certain teachings about the scriptures, I got to give this man credit. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to the theory of evolution and about his refuting of the religion, right? Of the religion of evolution, right? And that's what this guy believes, right? This guy believes that he didn't come from a god, but he came from a fish that evolved into a monkey and then into him. but he doesn't trust liars, though, right? He doesn't trust liars, even though there's literally like hundreds of frauds throughout the year that were pushing evolution who put these displays out for the people where they claim that they found like skeletal remains of creatures that were in the transitioning stage from one species into another, so they put them on display. So it'd be like half this creature, half that creature, and people believed it. And then it comes out years later that all these ones on display are all fake. But you don't trust liars, though. You'll hear him say later on in the stream, he doesn't trust liars. Then he also says later that, well, if you're telling the truth, you don't have to lie, right? If you're actually telling the truth, then you don't have to lie. Well, wait a second, though. Then why the hell do your evolution guys, why the hell are they all lying to push the idea of evolution then? Why don't you call them out? Why is NASA hiding why are they faking their pictures if they're not hiding something? If they're not lying, why are they faking things? If the ISS is, nothing fishy with that, why the hell have we caught them literally hundreds of times throughout the years where there's mistakes in the video, where it glitches out, where it's not supposed to, clear evidence of green screens being used? And you mean to tell me that there's nothing to that? Oh, I believe what I'm told. All that's real, all that's reliable. I'm a very smart person. I mean, this guy is just amazing. Again, it's just astonishing.
And huckster.
I hope that you could say that, but I disagree.
No, he is. He is absolutely a liar and a charlatan. He's not a scientist. He's a pseudoscientist. He believes the Earth is ridiculously young, and as well as ludicrous other beliefs. What do you think that your world is flat? Let me ask you that, or disc-shaped, or not an oblong sphere?
Like, take a guess as to what altitude you have to be.
Oh, and I want to point out, I forgot to mention this earlier when we were talking about Noah's Ark. I didn't even intend on going fully in depth into that topic about Noah's Ark. I was actually going to bring up another thing that would completely blow him out of the water with him, scrutinizing the Old Testament. I was going to bring up, well, what about when the Israelites went through the Red Sea? There's actual evidence that this actually happened. It's at the Nuweiba Beach. You can scuba dive into the Red Sea waters there, and they found ancient wreckage of Egyptian chariots in the sea there. Horse bones are down there, men's bones are down there in this area, right? Now, why is that down there? Well, it lines up with the story that the Israelites went through the sea and the Egyptians chased them on the chariots, and then God closed the sea on them and crushed them in the sea. And even on land at the Nuweiba Beach, it lines up with the story too. There's mountain ranges surrounding them with only one path to go out, but the Egyptians came through that and closed it out. So the only way the people could get out of there was to go through the sea. That lines up with the story too. And the nail in the coffin is across from the Nuweiba Beach into Saudi Arabia. Mount Sinai is over there. And even the locals, even the government over there, they know that mountain is Mount Sinai. The top of the mountain is the only burned mountaintop in all the region. There's 12 pillars of stone at the bottom of the mountain. There's the golden calf altar that's been built there with etched in menorahs and animals into it. and Hebrew writing on it. So again, all the evidence is there to support that the Old Testament stories actually happened. It's just you and other atheists out there are too gullible and ignorant to actually look into the information without being biased. And again, another nail into the coffin for this guy is it even says, I believe that's Galatians, the 4th chapter. Yeah, I believe that's Galatians chapter 4. It even makes a reference to Mount Sinai being in Arabia. And going back to what I said, they found Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia. But if you go to Galatians 4, it makes a reference to it being in Arabia. So once again, the Bible proven true. And we didn't even get to that point, but he would have been blown out of the water with that one. I mean, damn, this guy's getting... I haven't seen a atheist get this cornered in a hell of a long time, man. I mean, this is a embarrassment. He should be happy he deleted that stream. Because you even had in the comment section, there was a couple people there from his audience saying, yeah, man, that guy ETT, he got you good. And he literally deleted the comments. I went back 20 minutes later to see if anybody answered my question in the comments. And the other dude that was criticizing Deconverted Man, his comment was totally removed. So this guy deleted that guy's comment that was criticizing him, saying, I won. Shows you, man, the guy's not being honest.
To see the curve. And there was a reason I was going to